Dr. Joseph Rosenberg. I was born in 1948. Went to high school in Southern California. Attended college at UCLA and dental school at USC, and been practicing dentistry since 1976. I was a senior in high school. Actually, I was a junior in high school when Lyndon Johnson, who was president, oversaw the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which most people of this generation know very little about. But in essence, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 outlawed the discrimination and made voter registration more accessible to underprivileged and previously denied citizens who wanted to vote. I was also influenced very heavily in the civil rights era by Dr. Martin Luther King, who is the founder of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and studied some of the works of Dr. King, and had the privilege of being lectured by a lady named Angela Davis at UCLA in 1968, who was very active in the civil rights movement. I recall the summer of 1968, actually the spring of 1968, I believe it was when Dr. King was assassinated by James Earl Ray, and what a horrific thing that was for the country. Race relations seemed like they were moving in a positive direction. There was an upward trajectory. That summer, it was 1968, Bobby Kennedy was also assassinated, who of course was the brother of President John F. Kennedy. And at that point in time, I just thought it was just tragic, not only for the country, but for the civil rights movement. I taught my three boys about the importance of diversity and inclusion. And you know, we live in this kind of all-white enclave in Pacific Palisades, and had the opportunity, in fact my boys were offered scholarships, so to speak, to attend Harvard Westlake. And I had heard of Loyola High School. I knew it was an all-boys Jesuit school in downtown LA. I did a little investigation and found out what a wonderfully diverse student body that comprised the students at Loyola, and wanted my boys to experience that. And as a result, I've got three Cubs in the family. Dustin, who graduated in 2008, Darren, who graduated in 2011, and Dawson, who will graduate, hopefully, in the spring of 2014. Obviously, the day that shocked the world, there's 2 days that I vividly recall. Certainly the assassination in Atlanta of Dr. King, and then the assassination of Robert F. Kennedy were moments in time that definitely resonate in the hearts of all those who championed and supported the civil rights movement of the 60s. I was in my formative years at that time. I was like 20, almost, I was 19 years old during the summer of 68, going on 20, and it had a profound effect on my outlook about the civil rights movement. And as a young boy, I was an avid Brooklyn Dodgers fan, and just worshipped the ground that Jackie Robinson walked on, and became an avid Dodger fan in 1955, and followed the Dodgers from Brooklyn to Los Angeles. But those are some of the things that I recall most moving about the 60s and my involvement in civil rights. That he won't get his act together in terms of getting the Obamacare program and free access to health care for everybody. I think that's going to be a dark page in the book of his presidency, and I just think that it was probably hurried along a little bit too much. I know a lot of people have similar sentiments, those that support the president and those on the other side of the aisle. But I just think it was a historic moment in time when he was elected president, and I think it's done nothing but enhance the harmony, racial harmony, for the citizens of the United States and of the world. When I was at Granada Hills High School in the 60s, I think we had one black student in the student body. And it was in the north part of the San Fernando Valley, and for the most part I was unexposed to African Americans until I went to college at UCLA. And I started UCLA in 1966, and it was a very, very diverse student body at that time. Even though the African American segment of the student body was probably mirrored the population as a whole, maybe 10-15% of the students at UCLA were there. The football team, for all intents and purposes, was almost all white. I remember we had a few black football players. I played baseball at UCLA, and there wasn't one black baseball player in the program while I was there. This is from '66 through 1969, and I don't know that at this point in time whether or not we have many, if any. We do have a couple black players on the UCLA baseball team now. And of course, we do have a number of African American football and basketball players. One of which is Anthony Barr, former Cub. Race relations in this country, from the time that I can remember, probably in my adolescent and young teen days, to now, have just improved dramatically. I think that's probably a matter of people being aware and being diverted away from ignorant stereotypes. And I think, everyone has a fear of the unknown. If you're not familiar with people from a different culture, and there's a negative stereotype that's been perpetuated over the years, that all kind of gets softened if you actually get out and meet people, whether you have a stigma or a dislike, or you're actually prejudiced against a particular race or ethnic people. Once you actually become involved and intimately know an individual ethnic or racial group of people, that the fear of the unknown or the ignorance of the unknown is probably paramount. But as you get to know people of all diverse ethnic and racial races, you become a lot more tolerant, and we all finally realize that we're all in this together. We're all people, we're all brothers in the brotherhood of man.